Hey everybody, it is time for our 2030 vision to go live. It is time to roll it out. It's time to talk about it, process it, engage with it, ask questions about it, own it, participate in it, fund it, lead it, serve in it. Like, it is time to do that. And I'm really excited to do that. Now, as you know, this isn't like just an Eric thing. This isn't my thing. This really is our thing. For about 18 months, the leaders around here, the elders around here, the staff and attenders, we've been talking about this, taking ideas, refining it, crafting it, shaping it, tweaking it, and today we are rolling it out, and I'm really excited about it. Now, you might be thinking, if you're in the seats, I don't know if this is my thing. Like, I am on the fence with some of this, and if I were sitting where you were sitting, I would be thinking the exact same thing. Like, we can't be excited about all of it, but I'm inviting you to consider being excited about some of it. And I want us to process it together in real time. So I brought some of my friends today to help us process this vision together. I'm gonna introduce you to them, and then we're gonna do something that I'm pretty excited about. Sir, what's your name?
David York.
Where do you serve? How long have you been at South Mountain York?
A little more than 4 years, Draper campus, and I serve in guest services.
Awesome, love seeing you there.
Yeah.
You are?
I'm Abilene Kurtz, and I've been coming to SMCC South Jordan since February, and I serve on the arts team. I sing in the worship.
Awesome. You sing great. I love listening to you sing. You, sir?
My name's Braden Below, and I get to serve in the tech booth at the Draper campus. We've been going to SMCC since Easter of last year, so
right on.
Over a year.
Right on, right on.
Sharon Fraser.
Sharon.
I have been coming to SMCC for just over 5 years, and I serve in guest services and kids ministry.
Love it. Fantastic. My neighbor.
Yes, my name's Brock Stone, and I don't serve, but I would serve if you asked me to serve. And I've been coming to the Lehigh campus.
Would you serve?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'll serve.
All right.
All right.
Lehigh campus?
Yes, Lehigh
years.
campus, 2 years.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So here's how this is gonna work, all right? I'm gonna read a statement, one of the outcomes from our 2030 vision, and then you are gonna move around this room to highlight your passion for the project, your passion for the outcome. We're calling this a spectrum of passionate support. So I'll read it, you will move around the room, and then we're gonna discuss your passion or lack thereof for one of the outcomes. Does that sound good? Remembering that we can't be excited about all these things, but there are people at SMCC who are excited about all of these things, and we can be excited about that. So that's how this is gonna work. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. First one is this. By paying off the International Campus building, we can secure a church home for future generations. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. Thinking about it? All right. I'm gonna start down here.
Let's start with him.
Unsure. Explain more.
I'm unsure because I don't know enough about the international campus or how much it's going to cost to pay it off. So my concern is that it may cost a lot of money, and I'm just unsure. I need more information.
Wonderful. We have a beautiful magazine for the people to grab today that will help with that.
Excellent.
All right. I'm coming over here now. Thoughts?
I like it. I love what we do with the international campus. I love seeing us reaching out to different communities, especially here in Utah, which is actually far more diverse than I think we realize. And I think having a place to be together without debt is just a great thing. Yeah.
All right. Appreciate that. Braden.
Yeah, I'm okay with it because it sounds like a great thing to be able to.
Sounds good. Why not?
It sounds great. I don't know, but kind of just with those guys, I just don't know a whole lot about it and the international campus in general. So I'd love to be able to learn more, but there's a lot of information that I don't know, but it sounds like a great thing.
All right. I appreciate it, Braden. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the second one. All right. Here we go. By enhancing our digital strategies, we can share the gospel. So enhancing our digital strategies, our use of technology, we can share the gospel with 30,000 new people by the year 2030. Move. Oh, this is setting up to be juicy. Okay, all right. I'm gonna give you a second because you got some work to do, all right?
Okay.
All right. So let's start over here. Sharon, thoughts?
Well, that doesn't sound like a bad thing at all.
Okay. What is the digital strategy to you?
I don't know. A digital strategy?
Yeah.
Well, like, I watch the YouTube ones.
the YouTube.
When I miss them on Sunday, I watch them at work on Monday,
Yep.
and I listen. So,
That's a digital
I
strategy.
like it. Okay, great.
Awesome.
That's what I use.
I am here because, well, I think when I first came to SMCC, I was like, they don't stream their stuff live? That's crazy. And I don't know if that's coming in the future or part
be.
of this.
Yeah.
But I think that's awesome, even if people are just like, truly can't make it to church, they're sick in bed that day, whatever. I think there's a lot of people we can reach that way. And I do social media for a job,
Okay.
part-time. And seeing those numbers of like, hey, this post didn't get a ton of likes, but 1,000 people saw it. Like,
Awesome.
we just have more reach than we think we can have.
All right. I like that. I'm gonna come back to you two, but we gotta see what's going on with this guy over here.
Sorry.
No, you're okay with it. Tell me more.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Here's the reality. Content's ubiquitous out there, and there's so much. I think it's important to have a good front porch, but at the end of the day, I think Christians need to gather. We need to be together. So I love the idea of people having a sense of who we are, what we value, what we believe, having a sense of how do I dress? What does it look like? What do you do? Because it could be foreign to a lot of people. So I think there's value in that. And obviously, I think that's where people go to connect initially. But I'm just a huge fan of the body of the believers getting together. And I think sometimes having online content can become a way of not connecting and not engaging. So I think it's a great entry point, but it's a starting point.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody over here want to change their perspective after listening to David's response?
I agree, but I agree with everything you're saying because I do think it becomes an excuse for people sometimes. They're like, well, I just watched online service, like I'm not going to show up in person. But for providing for the people that's mandatory for whatever reason, I think it's huge.
All right.
I think it's huge.
Brock, tell us more.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. I think that there's several different ways to do it and to take the message to people. I love the intimacy of being at church, but I also travel about 120 flights a year, and it's been so important to me in my journey with SMCC to be able to connect while I'm on the road, to be able to get a podcast, to be able to listen to something, to be able to actually feel like I'm connecting with my community. The other thing is too, and the way I kind of look at it is, we have a unique message at SMCC that I truly believe in. I've already turned on people that I work with. I work in a huge corporation, right, big company. I've turned on people from across the United States into to turn on SMCC and to listen to. In fact, one of the guys that was listening, he's coming now, which is incredible. And then the other thing is too, just for my personal deal is that I have a daughter up at USU, right? And her roommates up there, they've had a different path. Some of them have left their old church. They don't know where they're going. And I was able to introduce them to SMCC through the digital side of it. So now that they can be together, it's a safe place for them to journey in before they actually maybe journey out. And I think that's important as well. And so now we've got some more people that, that are connecting with us via, the digital side. And I just think, it's going to be 2030. It's 2024 right now. It's just going to be bigger and bigger and bigger, and having something digital, I think, is important.
Awesome. All right, here we go to the third outcome. By building a permanent facility in Utah County for our Lehigh campus, we will expand access to a gospel community for over 700,000 people. Move. Braden.
Yeah. I think that sounds great. I just think it doesn't directly impact me. I'm at the Draper campus, so it just doesn't directly impact me, and I think that's the only reason why it's that's amazing. But I feel fully bought in. I'm not gonna transfer over to the Lehigh campus because Draper is just convenient for me. But yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
Awesome. David.
Yeah, it's exciting. I moved to Salt Lake in 1975, so I've been here for almost 50 years.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
Yeah, and I think there were fewer Christian churches then than South Mountain has campuses now. So I'd love seeing churches and providing other opportunities. And again, I think Utah County is one that has been so predominantly one faith. It's great to see other options and alternatives. So I'm really excited about it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Jumping over here, Sharon.
You live in Saratoga, so you know what it's like to get in and out of Saratoga.
I know what it's like down there, especially on a weeknight.
Yeah, it's made it so Wednesday nights aren't possible for my kids to go because I can't dedicate 4 hours on a Wednesday.
Going around the point of the mountain, sitting in the freeway.
Yeah,
Yep, I get it. Brock?
Yeah, I mean, I love convenience as well. I'm in Saratoga as well, so bring a campus closer would be a positive impact.
Yep.
And, you know, I love a warehouse, don't get me wrong, but I think it would be, you said front porch. I love that statement, right? I think that we should make our front porch look as good as possible to invite as many people as possible. And I think sometimes the warehouse location can be a bit of a distraction on the way in till you get in and get locked in.
Yep.
So great idea. Let's do it.
Awesome. Abilene.
I'm kind of in the same boat here where I am super excited about it. New campuses is always awesome, but it's not something that is probably going to directly impact me a ton.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Man, you guys are so wise. So wise. Here we go. By starting a pastoral training program, we can develop and equip more pastors during a nationwide pastoral crisis. Move.
Say it again.
By starting a pastoral training program,
Okay.
we can develop and equip more pastors during a nationwide pastoral crisis.
I don't care.
All right, we got to go with that one.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, perfect. Let me explain. The average age of the pastor in America is
Pastors are new to me.
Yes, okay. Pastors that lead and shepherd and give all of their attention, the best hours of their day to ministry, to creating next steps for people. The average pastor in America is over the age of 60. And there is not a group of young leaders rising up to pastor the thousands and thousands and thousands of churches in America. SMCC has a history of developing and training up and equipping young leaders and believing in them and trusting them for ministry. We want to continue that.
Okay.
Does that help? Does that
That
change
sounds like
your
a great idea.
spot? Okay.
I'm okay with it.
All right.
I'm okay with it.
Perfect. I'm glad you're okay with it. Abilene.
I think this is super exciting. I think that discipleship is like one of the most important things, period, and disciples need to raise other disciples to take their place. I think I've seen a little bit in my life of what happens when a church gets old and then there's no one to replace that leadership,
Yeah.
no one to bring in the younger generation. So I think that's super exciting.
Wow, that is incredible. Thanks for that perspective, Braden.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm interested in becoming a pastor one day, and I think sometimes we've had conversations and stuff, just knowing what the training process looks like, and knowing the right questions to ask, and to just have that, I guess, just line that track, not fast track, I guess, but just that guidance there, and to be able to have that be through my home church. I absolutely love that idea. I love it so much. So yeah, I'm all for it. And two, I just think for growth for growth in Christianity, it's kind of harsh, but my parents say this thing sometimes, and it's if you're not moving, you're dying, and if you're not growing, you're dying. And I think that's so true. It's important to develop people, to keep people moving and transforming. So
Awesome.
yeah.
I've loved the questions you bring in your journal to my office as we talk about ministry. I love it. Going way down here. David.
Yeah.
Unsure.
Well, I love the idea. I do think organizations, we have to constantly push to get younger. I think the generations are so different, and I think they bring a great new perspective. I also think you can do anything, you can't do everything. And I think as an organization, you have to be careful of how many things you're trying to accomplish. Do you have the bandwidth? Do you have the skill set? Because I think developing and training leaders can go hand in hand with what you do as an organization, or it can be something that can sidetrack you. There's a lot to do in this community. So yeah, I'm unsure because I would want to see, can we do it well? I think unfortunately sometimes the word Christian means mediocre, and I think you should do everything with excellence. So if we can do it excellently, I'm all for it. If there's one more thing to add to the plate, that's what makes me unsure.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Here we go. Next one. By improving our Sunday morning environments, meaning improving the buildings we currently have, we will enhance people's first experience of a belong before you believe culture. Move.
Okay, say it one more time.
Got it. One more time. By improving our Sunday environments, we will enhance people's first experience inside of a belong before you believe culture.
Oh, that's so big.
Their Sunday morning experience improves as we continue to enhance buildings that are aging.
Okay. Oh. Okay, I'm here. I'm still here.
Brock's okay with it.
I'm okay with it. I was unsure, but now I'm okay with it. One of the things that attracted me the most to SMCC was actually kind of the warehouse. I know I said a little something different, but coming into the warehouse, my introduction to Christianity, my introduction to God didn't come through church doors. It came through, basically the basement of a church. And so I like the rawness of it myself. I get a little bit worried, and that's why I'm okay with it. I think we do it responsibly, but I get a little bit worried of the, making it too much. You know what I mean? Where you walk in and what is the message here, right? If it's too much glitz and glam, then maybe the message is lost, right? And so, that's why I'm okay with it. I trust that you guys will be responsible with it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I go back and forth between Draper and Lehigh. It just depends on what vibe I'm going for that day.
All right. What are the different vibes?
Okay. Well, so when I go to Lehigh, it's definitely a smaller vibe. It feels like a little bit closer community, and I like it. And then if I'm not feeling social, I get to go to Draper
All
and
right.
I get to hide in the masses.
I understand. I get it. Braden.
Yeah, kind of like what he said. I just think like the heart and soul of it all is just the genuine interactions with people. So like you can build up this massive church. I kind of think of like some like mega church memes that you might see online, just kind of poking fun at how grand it is, and it almost can look like, oh, you lost track of what's important here. And I think just being responsible with that and like understanding no matter what you're doing, it's the heart and soul of just the genuine interactions with people, like seeing him at the door at the morning or talking to just our service members in the lobby. Like that is like the most important thing, hands down. So that's kind of why I'm just okay with it.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Awesome. Unsure still, again.
Yeah, it depends on what words mean, right? I think it's critical that there would be parking spots.
Yeah.
People will drive out if they don't see a parking spot, if they don't feel like they can come in and sit down. But at the end of the day, I think it's more about how we treat the people when they come in. And I do think, especially in our community, people are sensitive to how funds are used and how they're spent. And so I think it should look good. Doesn't need to look great. I think we need to be great, and our places need to be good. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Abilene.
Kind of along the same lines, like everything costs money. Tech stuff costs crazy money. So it's like, where are we spending things on salary? Are we spending things on new tech? And what is the balance between being like of the world and just in the world being Christians? I do love the belong before you believe, like making an environment where people feel comfortable, feel like they can take a step in without diving. But I don't know. There's always just a balance between, are we trying to emulate like something that is just worldly, or I don't know. It's
Makes
about the
perfect sense.
intention, I guess.
I totally
but-
love it. Yeah, I get exactly
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, next outcome. Here we go. By equipping 1,500 people in their head, their heart, and their hands, so classes, groups, and service, 1,500 people participating in those three things, every age group will experience more devotion and delight in Jesus. So by 2030, 1,500 people having participated in those three ways. So I'll read it one more time. By equipping 1,500 people in their head, heart, and hands, every age group can experience more devotion and delight in Jesus. Move. Wow, give yourselves a hand. Bought in literally. Wow, man, that's exciting. This is encouraging to me. This is encouraging. I'm just gonna go down the line. Explain.
Yeah, I just think it's good to be equipped like that and be able to share those service experiences with other people. And I think that being able to grow in that way is just amazing. It equips us to be able to share it with fellow Christians, fellow church members, but also to share it with people who maybe don't know SMCC.
Got it.
And if you have that connection at your home, then it's easier to kind of spread out to other people. So,
Have you taken a class at South Mountain?
I have not. No.
All right.
I wish I
You could
had.
be one of those people by 2030.
Yeah.
But you have served with your hands. You're on a team.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. York.
Yeah. Well, I only switched over to this one because you emphasize the word service. You know, I think if we're not careful, we treat the Bible like it's a book of sayings and not a book of doings. We need to do the work. And so I do think it's important to connect with God and with others, but it's also about getting out there and actually serving. And that's something that I do appreciate about South Mountain is engaging with charities that roll their sleeves up and serve. And honestly, I think that's the best way that we can actually share what we believe is when it connects to what we do. Yeah.
That's good. That's so good. Abilene.
I feel like the 80-20 rule is like 90-10 in the church, where it's like 10% of the people are doing 90% of the work. And I just think the more people who we can get on the bought-in part of the spectrum,
Bought in literally.
the better,
Awesome.
the better. So
Yeah, I would say a lot of like what they said. For my story, my next step was that. Like my first step was walking in, leaving religion, coming and sitting on the back row for a year. But then my next step was just doing service and joining a team. And I didn't even have any really knowledge about Christianity, but that was like what felt like the natural thing to invest in, which ended up being so great because I do think all three of those things and taking the class.
What class did you take?
Turning Point,
Yep,
and that was fantastic. And then I did, and then, COVID kind of ruined, but then I signed up for Understanding Christianity.
Yeah.
And so that, those classes were so important for me. And then diving into service was,
Awesome.
I'll stay there.
Love it. Brock? Bought in literally.
Bought in literally.
1,500 people, head, heart, hands.
Yeah, 1,500 head, heart, hands. No, I think to echo the service part of it. My dad always used to tell me that it's imperative to leave more on the table than we're taking. It's kind of paradoxical. It doesn't make a lot of sense. If I'm going somewhere and I'm just getting, I think I'm filling my cup, right? But in essence, the best way to feel this thing and to be a part of is to give as much as we can, right? And so I think that for me anyway, listening to that message, seeing how everybody is bought in, I think that we understand that we need to give it away to keep it, right? And I think that there's no better way than to do this with the SMCC message and service is huge. I know I don't do any service right now, but you didn't call me, and neither did anybody else.
You're serving today by being in this place.
Yeah.
Thanks for the honesty, by the way.
So yeah, no worries. Maybe I'll get a call later, but yeah. Anyway.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, we're doing good. We got two more. Here we go. By starting a sixth campus, we will invite a whole new city into gospel community by the year 2030. Move. By starting a new campus, which would be our sixth campus, in a city that maybe doesn't have a church like South Mountain yet, we can invite a whole new group of people, a whole new community, thousands of people, into an experience of the gospel. That's this outcome. Okay. All right. Where's the money?
Okay.
All right. Say what you said again.
I'm okay with it if there's money.
Are you okay with it what if there's not money?
Well, then no.
Okay. All right. Brock, thoughts?
Just where, that would be important for me to know. The money thing also, I think it was echoed about, if we're taking away from one, to copper to fill up another, like, does that take away with some of the other things that we've already talked about? And so, yeah, and then obviously, like, like selfishness jumps in here too. I don't want it to like take away from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you're going to do it far away.
Okay, all right.
And that way I can get to Lehigh.
Okay, all right, Abilene.
I feel like they were convincing.
You're on the super excited point.
Oh, I know, but I'm like, maybe I.
You wanna move?
Okay with it. I'll just say more campuses, awesome. Glad we're reaching new people. Super excited.
Okay, this doesn't sound super excited, but I believe you. Braden.
Okay, I'm over here. I'm teenager. Money part went right over my head. Didn't even. I'm like, oh, that's great.
We're gonna need future pastors to pastor those campuses, though.
That's kind of what I thought of. I was like, well, that creates a lot of new opportunities for people to serve and stuff. I'm like, all right, well, that's great. Money part right over.
All right.
But yeah, I think overall it's amazing. Just being able to spread the gospel in a completely new area. I mean, we all know it needs it, and so yeah, I'm just grateful for it. But yeah, they brought up a lot of good, valid adult questions that that make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's valid concerns
Yep.
with it all, but overall, yeah, I think it's a great thing to at least have that topic be in the conversation
Yep.
and be thinking about it.
Built into the 2030 magazine, we break down how we think we can fund this, how much all 8 outcomes will cost, and how we can get there together. So pick up the magazine, do some adulting.
What location?
What location?
We won't tell. It's a secret.
We don't know yet. We do not know yet. We are still investigating a few locations. So
You haven't decided.
haven't decided.
Utah.
In Utah.
Okay.
Yes, in Utah. All right. You guys ready for the last one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, your guys' wisdom, your guys' perspective, so helpful for our church. All right. So here we go.
Such stoic.
Here we go. Here is the last one. By offering 500,000 hours of care and compassion in the state of Utah, we can make the love of Jesus undeniable. So let me explain that again. Collectively, as a group of people, thousands of people who call South Mountain a home, serving over the next 5 years in areas of care and compassion for people in need, people who need support, people who need love. 500,000 hours of collective care and compassion from this church. We can make the love of Jesus undeniable in the state of Utah.
I'm almost totally. I have to lawyer this.
Tell us more.
I love the idea. At the same time, we need to love because we were loved and we're called to love. And I think sometimes we see it as a means to an end. We say, oh, if we do all this stuff, then we'll get good vibes, or people will come to our church. No, we give because we give, and we love because we love. And I think sometimes, we're nice to the neighbor because we want them to come to church until they decide they're not going to go to church with us, and then we move on. And so
I've seen that.
yeah, I think sometimes it's just an end. It's not a means to an end. So I was good with you until that last little caveat. I think we give because we give, because that's the nature of who we are. And if that produces people coming and knowing the love of Jesus, that's great. But you know what? He fed people who walked away because that was just who he was. So that was my one little hang up.
I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Jumping over here, Braden.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Just like intentionality is so important. You can do a good thing for a wrong reason.
Yep.
And that's not what I'm saying this is, but that can happen. And it's just being good because, like you said, being good, being loving because we've been loved. And we want to just share that with people. And it's not giving up on people if they weren't as psyched about SMCC or whatever. It's just, no, I gave you a chance. I wanted to love you because that's what I'm called to do, and I do because I love you. And I want you to come and experience what I've been able to experience. So it's, I think just if it stays rooted in that foundation, just the intentionality of, you said it perfectly. I can't regurgitating information here, but yeah, I just think being loving, genuinely loving, not just to get a number of people here, but
Love
just
it.
to love them.
Love it. Sharon jumped spots when I wasn't looking.
I haven't dedicated a spot.
Okay.
Actually, I've hit 3 spots since you've been talking.
Okay.
But I agree with everything that's been said. Originally, I was so bought in because I serving fills my cup. I love it so much, and I would do it for myself too, but I also love to do it for other people. I think it's so great. I do come from religion where it can seem disingenuous and it can seem a little bit fake. So I do like the idea of truly giving because you're giving. That's important to me.
Awesome.
I guess I don't want to, yeah.
You don't seem like you don't care about people.
Yeah. I mean, I come from an old church where always a missionary, and so that is in me, and I can come across like that, and I'm sure people on my Instagram are like, Sharon, we know you love Christianity.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they already think that. So yeah, I'm afraid of being like that.
I
And
get
I'm
it.
afraid of SMCC, I guess, looking like that. But.
Yep. I so appreciate that. Wrapping up, bought in literally, Abilene.
I just love the idea of like the best way to preach is just to serve. And I think there's a time and a place to, you know, share the gospel word for word with people. And those opportunities certainly present themselves. But the best thing that you can do for a community who's lost is just to love them. And I totally agree. Love them because you were loved first and because that's just what glorifies God and not as a means to an end, but
Love it.
just to love them. That's the
Awesome.
best first step.
Love it, love it. And Brock.
Yeah, I'm bought in, literally. I think about like the numbers on it, and you talk about the 500,000 hours, right? And I'm one of those people that don't believe that the 500,000 hours is going to bring back, you know, 100% success rate. But I think that if you put it out there, you're going to be able to touch who you need to. And then the other side of it is planting the seed. You know, I think everybody has a different path, but you know, without somebody planting the seed at some point, at some time, it doesn't grow, right? And so sometimes that seed gets planted, we don't see it for 10 years, we don't see it for a long time, but then something happens, it clicks, we remember at that time SMCC came and they talked about love and they showed that to me. Maybe that's what'll bring somebody back. So I just think about it as overall, the good that would come out of that effort is gonna far outweigh you know, any of the problems.
Yep.
So. Yeah.
Guys, you have done an amazing job with this. Thank you for processing your passion for these outcomes on the fly, in public. I know it's going to help so many other people process the vision. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.